Hello and welcome to Internship Week. We're so glad you're here. Today is our kickoff. We're starting with Handshake A to Z. Handshake A to Z, Sarah's going to enlighten you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sarah. First, before I introduce Sarah, I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Jan Potsman, and I'm an assistant director in the Career Center, and I've worked with internships for over 20 years. So this is one of my areas of expertise. So we're bringing you Internship Week this week. But today is one of our key events. It starts with Handshake A to Z, and Sarah Lalong is our speaker. For over 12 years, Sarah Lalong has been the Employment Services and Event Coordinator at the Csun Career Center and oversees all the major employment events for Csun. Sarah is our resident handshake expert, and she and her team review, approve all employers and jobs posted in Handshake. She works tirelessly to develop relationships with employers seeking Csun students. She is a Csun alumna from the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communication. Sarah is a great enthusiast of career exploration and finding career fields and industries that fit your unique background and direction. In her free time, Sarah likes to draw, take pictures, listen to music, watch films, and takes walks in nature. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Jan. Good morning, everyone. So today's Handshake A to Z, you're going to learn about everything in a handshake. I mean, there's a lot. So we're going to go through the system. I'll take you actually into the system. So for our agenda, we're going to talk about accessing Handshake. How do you get into Handshake? Account management. How do you make sure that your profile and settings are matching your information, and jobs in Handshake, events, employers, and Career Center resources. So this is the home page of Handshake. But to get into Handshake, we recommend that you log into CareerLink first. To access Handshake, there's a lot of resources in CareerLink to help you with resume writing, interview skills, and networking, jobs related to your major. So getting into CareerLink is a great way to start looking for jobs. Then let's go into CareerLink. To access CareerLink, you're going to use your Csun login credentials. So you go to student, log into CareerLink, or you can actually just, if you want to go directly to Handshake, go to the Handshake Jobs, Internship, and More section. Using your Csun login credentials, you log in. Of course, now we have to authenticate with our phones to get into Csun portal with your Csun portal login. So go to Handshake, and as you can see, there's lots of resources in CareerLink. So I do recommend that you explore those. And now we're in Handshake. The first time you log into Handshake, you're going to have to set up your career interests. You can skip that process, but I recommend you go back and update those as you move through your college career. For example, you can update those by going to your avatar or initials up in the top right corner, and you'll get this drop-down menu. One of the options is my career interests. This is how the system will push what your interests are to you. So if you're interested in internships, select internships. Maybe when you're close to graduating, you're more interested in a full-time job, you can select full-time job. Maybe you're a freshman and you're looking for an on-campus job. So you can have different interests. You can have more than one interest, but this is how you're going to make the system work the best for you. And what kind of job roles, what location, if you're interested in another location, maybe, you know, you're coming to Csun, but you're looking for work in Seattle after graduation, you can list different locations and different industries that you might be interested in, job functions, when do you graduate, and then save those interests. So now we're going to go back to the home page. This is where you're going to be able to access everything from this navigation menu. And even though we're on the home page, you can access this menu from anywhere in the system. It'll always be kind of pinned to the top.
Sarah?
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If students have questions, should we have them ask them at the end or during the presentation?
Maybe at the end, because maybe I'll answer their question.
Okay, great. So students, if you have questions, you can place them in the chat.
So we're going to go back to the presentation now and go over what is account management. So your profile, your My Job, so jobs that you favorite, you can access them from this account center. My interviews, the Career Center will sometimes host on-campus interviews where employers will register their interview schedule with us. My Documents is where you'll upload your resume, your cover letter, your transcripts, your career interests, which we went over, reviews. If you want to review an employer, it helps build the community in Handshake and supports other students' career exploration. Settings is where you'll set your privacy settings. If you want to network with other students and employers, you'll set those settings there. And let's go in. Those are the main, those are the main things in the account management. So for your profile, some of the information is already included, like your academic major. If you've recently switched your academic major, it might not be accurate. So you want to make sure that the major listed is accurate. Your degree type, if you're a master's student or you have an associate's degree, you can include those in education. Your Csun, current Csun education will populate, but again, like I said, sometimes it might not be correct if you've recently changed your major. You can include work and volunteer experience. Employers can see this information if you have your profile set to public. Some things that they don't have access to is where you're currently at, your job interests, your personal information. You can choose to share your pronouns. You can include clubs and orgs that you're a part of. That it's great to include those if you want to, it's a great to network with other students and alumni and employers by putting your extracurriculars in there, because it's kind of like a way to introduce yourself. Courses that might be relevant for students who don't have a lot of work experience. Putting courses and projects can be helpful to showcase like your skills outside of work experience. You can network with other students that might have similar interests with you or work at a company that you're interested in. And again, if you set your profile to public for students, you can search by Csun alumni. You can search, like I said, by student organizations. You can search by employer. So like if you're interested in a specific employer and you want to see, or they a Csun alum, or maybe they're a part of a student organization. For example, let's say I want to work at Target, but I want to meet with a Csun alum only. I can see, or and then you can see students who have worked at Target and have graduated from Csun, and you can message them. So that's a really great tool. And the benefit about using Handshake over LinkedIn is that it's connected to your college, and it's only for college students and college grads. So employers in there are looking specifically for college graduates. You can also network based on school and clubs and organizations major. So there's some unique reasons to use Handshake. LinkedIn is a great tool too. It's just another tool for you to use. So now I want to talk about the privacy settings. So from your avatar, again, this navigation menu at the top is always going to be there. I'm going to go to my avatar settings, and here is where you can set your privacy setting. So I have mine set to community. This way I can network with other students and employers. You can always change and update your settings depending on where you are, like in your if you want to message students, but then later on you're done and you want to set it back to private, or you want to attend a job fair, a virtual job fair, and then after it's over, you want to set it back to private. And then employers would just be with employers and not with other students. So that's how those settings work, and then save update. So just briefly, I'm going to go over the my documents tab. This is where you're going to add your resume. You can make it visible to employers. Please don't put your complete address in your resume. Your city and state is fine. For example, Northridge, California, maybe the zip code, but don't put your actual address. Just city and state is fine. And you can add transcripts, other documents like a writing sample or class schedule, cover letter. And this way, when you go to apply for jobs, you can easily attach them. Then for my jobs, if you like a job, you'll be able to find it here and go back to it at another time. This is kind of like favoriting jobs. So going back to the presentation, let's go over the job section. So for the job section, some key notes for the job section are that you can, when you first go into the jobs, they're populated by relevant jobs. What that means is based on your academic profile uploaded by your university, such as like your major, your college, your class level, and your career interests that you've set, like what kind of job roles you're interested in, industries. These jobs are going to filter based on those fields that have been selected. So updating those career interests will help make these relevant jobs more relevant to you. You can also filter jobs. Some popular filters are keyword search. So if you're looking for a marketing job, you could type marketing and find all the jobs listed with marketing in the title. If you're looking for a job type, so are you looking for an internship on campus, just a regular job? And in all filters, you can access major and industry. So if an employer selects specifically for a art major, then you can filter jobs based on employers looking for art majors. If you're looking for a specific industry, you can search jobs listed in Handshake by industry. You can also save searches. So If you're looking for an internship with a certain major, you can save that search and you can go back to it easily. So you don't have to select the same filters every time. You can go to saved. And then application details, that's where you're going to see more information about the job. You want to make sure that you're reading all the instructions when it comes to posting a job. And I'm going to go into the system and show you what that looks like. So when you go to the jobs tab, and let's say, you're interested in this position. This is actually a career center position currently posted for a social media marketing assistant. You get some details about the job. When is the application deadline? It's next Thursday. When was it posted? What's the estimated salary? How to apply? And you can read information about the job. And if there's any specific application information, you want to make sure that you're reading, submit your resumes today, interviews will be okay. So when you go to apply, it'll tell you what they're requesting. So they're requesting for a resume, you can upload it, and other documents, a writing sample. So you'll add those and then submit application. Or if you've never uploaded a document, you can upload new from your file explorer. And then submit, and you've applied. So it's pretty easy. If you are just looking at jobs and you're not ready to apply yet, you can save it and go later on, go back to your jobs. And let's go through the filters. So like, let's say you want to apply for a part-time job, paid roles only. We only approve paid jobs, so but you can select that. And let's say I'm looking for a graphic designer position, and I don't care about the industry. And show results. So there's not a lot of options for that part-time job, graphic designer, but I can save this search, and I've created a job alert. So if a job does get listed with those filters, I'll be notified by email. So that's really helpful. And I could log into Handshake and go back and find, those are my saved jobs. If I wanted to, okay, I thought I could. So when you save the search, it emails you. I thought you would be able to go back and find it, but I don't see that option anymore. So saved jobs would just be jobs that you've saved. And then to save a search, it will give you a job alert and email you so that those filters will come back by email. So that's how you apply to jobs in Handshake, in internships. And another section in Handshake that is useful is the events section. In the event section, again, you have the option to filter. You can find workshops, information sessions. Those are employers who are talking about employment opportunities that give a company overview, career fairs. And with career fairs, you have some sub-tabs in career fairs that include the career fair details, the available sessions for that job fair, and then the your schedule, which is where you would launch your schedule on the day of. You'll also find on-campus interviews in the events tab and your schedule. So going into Handshake, we're going to go to the events tab, and you have filters. You can search based on is this a virtual session? When is it this week, this month, date, virtual, on site? What career center? So if you're a student from the College of Business or the Department of Accounting and Information Systems, you can filter your search just based on your college's session, or maybe you're not a business student and you don't qualify for these events. You can search just for career center events for all students. If you want to find a job fair or an event that has passed, you can go to past events and search within that time frame to find an event that you want to find information about, go back to. So here we're looking at career center events. You can see that these are listed as virtual career fairs, and this is a virtual session. Resume Makeover is this week, along with all of our internship week events that are happening. Today's event. If you want to save an event, then that will remind you to register. You can register, and once you register, you'll have access to the sessions to sign up for. We'll talk about this more in detail later this week at the Navigate a Virtual Fair workshop. So that's the virtual fair subtabs I was talking about. Going back to events, to register for an event, you'll select register. Once you register, you'll receive an email, usually with a Zoom link in it, and a passcode to access on the day of. You join event and you'll need that passcode. And you'll find out, is the event in Zoom? Is it sometimes employers host in WebEx. You can see other students who have public profiles that are going. You can leave a comment to the event organizer. So that's the events in Handshake. There's also on-campus interviews. A lot of employers that register for on-campus interviews are accounting firms and engineering firms. So if you're an accounting or engineering student, on-campus interviews will be very relevant to you. College of Business and College of Engineering and Computer Science will host a lot of on-campus interviews. And once you've registered, you'll see all the events you're registered for in the Your Schedule tabs. You can easily access them and know what event you're registered for. I recommend that you create a calendar event in your phone so that when the event's coming up, you'll be notified. You can also include, like, if you make the calendar invite from the email that they send you, you can, it'll include like the event information so you can easily access it from your calendar event. So now we're going to go back to the presentation. And we're going to talk about employers, another big section in Handshake. With the employers, again, you have filters. Some interesting filters are employers you follow. So you can follow employers. And just like when you create a safe search and you get those job alerts for those jobs you're interested in, you can create alerts for employers posting jobs that you follow. So if you're interested in a specific employer and you follow them, anytime they post a job, you'll be notified. You can do a keyword search for employers. You can search by location. I always caution students with location, because sometimes an employer might be headquartered in one place. For example, we have the Walt Disney Company here, and they're headquartered in Florida. So if you do a location search, it's not always indicative to where all the locations are for that employer. You can search by industry. So if there's a specific industry you're interested in going into, you can search by industry. In the employer profile, you can find an about section, any jobs that they have currently listed in Handshake, their contact information. You can find sometimes students who've worked there. You can ask them questions. You can read reviews of that employer, and sometimes even tips and news. Let's go into the employer section and we'll see what this looks like firsthand. Go, there we go. So this is the employer section in Handshake. And you'll see right on top, you'll see the employers I'm following. If I want to only see the employers I follow, I can filter my search to those employers. And I can also search for employers. Like maybe I want to find TikTok and see, are they posting with Csun? Here's TikTok. And let's go into their account. So I select their name. I can see where are they headquartered? What kind of industry is this? How many employees do they have? So I'm getting some great demographics of the company from Handshake. I can see if they are listing jobs with us. And right now I see one job listed currently. They have posted with us in the past. And you can see some pictures of like their offices. You can see employees' perspectives and contact information. One of the benefits of using Handshake again is that there's a whole industry of campus recruiting. Employers are interested in hiring college students because there's a lot of transferable skills you learn as a college student, like critical thinking, tolerance, writing skills, and even like computer skills, like general computer skills. So there's a lot of things that a college degree can bring you, even if your major is not a direct career path into a job. Employers are looking for college students. They have a whole website career website devoted to campus recruiting. A lot of companies have a campus recruiting office. So, and this is linking directly to it. The LinkedIn profile would maybe link to their careers at TikTok. And you can, they like I was saying, you can message students who've worked there and say, you can ask them questions like, what kind of professional experience were they looking for? Or how did you, do you have any interview advice? Like, what was the interview process like? You can reach out to them. If you have any tags that make you like, there's Csun students who've worked there, you know, hey, I'm a Csun student. I noticed you worked at TikTok from Handshake. I was wondering if you had any advice about internships. Maybe you are in a club together. So you can message students based on like your club. So those are ways to connect and network and use Handshake for that. So that's the employer section in Handshake. There's so many employers connected with Csun. So, and if you don't find an employer that you're interested in Handshake, you can email us and let us know, and we can reach out to them and try and develop a relationship with them. So now we're going to go back to the presentation. And we're almost done. I'm just going to go over the resources in Handshake. So in the Career Center tab that you see from the navigation menu in Handshake, you can find a campus overview for Csun. You can find resources for our virtual drop-in schedule, LinkedIn Learning. It's a great way to make your skills more competitive. So maybe you're from the College of Humanities, but you want to work in office administration. You could take a course in Excel in LinkedIn Learning. These are courses that are free to you as a Csun student. And maybe you want to work on leadership skills or diversity and inclusion, equity, diversity, equity and inclusion skills. You know, they have all kinds of courses that offer certificates. You can add them to your LinkedIn profile. You can put them on your resume as a certification in those for those professional skills, and they really add credibility to your resume, your LinkedIn profile for professional skills. There's also a resume guide. So if you want to update your resume, there's a resource from CareerLink linked out. CareerLink is linked out in Handshake too. And upcoming career fairs and a public staff listing. So we're going to go really quick back into Handshake. And like I was saying, this navigation menu that you can access from anywhere in the system, you can select Career Center. And so here's where you can find information about the university, what career centers are in there, upcoming fairs and events, public staff listing. If you're a College of Business student, you can actually schedule an appointment with Handshake. The Career Center schedules appointments externally from Handshake, but if you go to the Resources tab, that's where you can find the Career Center virtual drop-in information. You can find the access to the Csun LinkedIn Learning. And you can take courses in Excel, Photoshop. There's all kinds of courses you can take in LinkedIn Learning, like I was saying, to add credibility to your resume and your LinkedIn profile. You can go back to CareerLink from Handshake. So you can, and some interesting resources available to you in CareerLink. Then there's also job search safety tips. You want to make sure that when you're applying for jobs, you're not sharing too much information with employers, like your social security number. That information comes after you've already been offered the position, and they need to do either a background check or hire you in, find your work authorization. So that's when you would give the social security number, never during the application process. Don't include your address. There's other information. Never deposit a check in your personal account for your employer unless it's your paycheck. And there's the resume guide. There's other resources in here that are really great. So going to the resume guide, this is in CareerLink, and it has kind of the standard resume. So if you were planning on coming to Resume Makeover, but you don't have a resume, you can access this resource to create your resume. Here you can see they don't list the complete address, and it's very simple. Recruiters are reviewing hundreds of resumes a day. If you're using some template that like takes their eye here and here, and they have to like look for all this different information, it makes it hard for the recruiter to find what they're looking for. So it's usually recommended to use this chronological resume. This is the standard resume format. And put your education experience. Again, if you don't have a lot of work experience, you can put your coursework in your resume. So yeah, that's in Handshake. And so now we're open to questions. And we can go back into the system. But thank you for listening today. If you have questions, Jan, I'm not sure, how do you want to go through the questions?
John, do we have any questions in the chat?
Yes, we do. We just got a question right now. And Matthew wants to know, where can we get a template for the resume that you just showed on the presentation?
Yeah, so to access that template, you're going to go to the Career Center tab from the navigation menu. Then you're going to go to Resources. And from there, you'll find resume guide. This is a Career Center resource that was created for Csun students. And when you open the resume guide, you'll find that template. It gives you a lot of information about the categories that you put in your resume, what not to include, and then some tips. And this is really going to help you create your resume. And then this is the template on page 7. So that's where you're going to find that template for that resume guide. Does anyone else have questions? Can they unmute, Jan?
No, we have just chat.
Okay.
Please put your questions in the chat. So if you have any questions for Sarah, I do have a question, Sarah.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if I was looking for a job in the entertainment industry, how would I do that search? How would I go about doing that?
Yeah, so there's a few things you can do. One is go to jobs, go to all filters, and depending on what kind of, if you're looking for an internship or a job, you could select either option. So I'll just pick both for now. And you could, if you know what job role you're looking for, you could put it in the search. But industry, you know, you would select, I think it's film, media, maybe entertainment. That's so weird. It's
Not coming up.
yeah, hold on, let's go back. Let's go to employers. So let's search industry here. So enter, no, film, media, journalism, media, and publishing. It wouldn't be that. Hold on a second. Let me check something out real quick. Teams, industry name. What is it called? Movies, TV, music. Okay. So let's go back to jobs and let's go to filters and let's look for industry. It's movies, TV, and music. There we go. So now we're seeing all the employers registered with the industry, movies, TV, and music. And so here we have the Los Angeles Philharmonic Association registered. So that's not maybe TV, that's not TV, but you can see there's a talent agency. Here's KABC TV registered. They're looking for a community engagement internship for this coming summer, fall 2022. There's Warner Brothers or Warner Music Group, Sirius XM plus Pandora. So yeah, that's how NBC Universal, Sony Pictures Entertainment, and you can apply for all of these through Handshake. And one thing to note about industry is that career field doesn't always translate to industry. For example, maybe you're an information systems student or a math student, statistics, and you're looking for data scientist work. a GIS major, and your skills could be transferable to a marketing job with data as a data scientist. So this is an entertainment industry job, but the career field doesn't match the industry. So finding an industry that interests you, but maybe isn't what your major is directed in, doesn't mean that you can't find a job in that industry. Jan, you could probably say that more eloquently than me, but
I think it's pretty clear. Really, that if let's say you want to be an accountant, you can be an accountant in so many different industries. So if you want to be a CPA and have your own firm, that's a different story. Or if you want to work for an accounting firm, that's a different story. But if you want to do accounting, there are jobs that will be in the entertainment industry. There will be jobs in tech industries. So no, it's very broad. You can look in lots of industries for a particular type of job. I'm not sure if that's any clearer. Let's see. Do we have
which platform is stronger to apply to, CSU Careers or Handshake? I noticed CSU Careers has expired jobs. From my understanding, CSU Careers is for CSU jobs. Is that correct?
I believe so. I think they're only jobs within the CSU. So it could be professional staff jobs, or faculty positions. That's what you would find in there.
If you want to apply to a CSU, I recommend you go to each specific CSU. So like if you're interested in working at Csun, go to the Csun HR page. For example, can we go to Csun?
But they are not typically student positions.
No.
They are professional staff, but staff and faculty positions that you'll find on that page. So just for your information, if you're looking as a student, you would use Handshake.
Yeah, if you're looking for on-campus student jobs, and that's a good question. Let's clear our filter search. You'd select on campus, and depending on if you qualify for work study, this number will change, but there's 72 jobs listed on campus. You can see it's Mike Kerb, College of Arts, Media and Communication is looking for a student assistant. Like we mentioned before, the Career Center is looking for a social media marketing assistant. Is that still open, Jan?
It is still open. We are looking for someone with graphic design skills.
Cool. There's a marketing assistant for the theater department. Student involvement and development is looking for a clubs and orgs student assistant. Front desk student for the Career Center.
Right.
Africana Studies is looking for a social media and PR manager. Physical plant management / PPM are looking for warehouse workers in postal and delivery services. So there's a lot of jobs in here for students to apply to, and you can see what kind of roles they're looking, or what kind of student they're looking for. Like you can see, I don't match their school year, their GPA, but I do match their GPA or major. And so I would say on-campus jobs, if it's an employer, they don't always know what school year or GPA. You can always apply anyways, and I recommend you do if you're interested. But for on-campus jobs, sometimes the class level is required because they need a 1-year commitment. So if you're a senior graduating in May and they're hiring for spring, you won't be able to make that 1-year commitment. So looking to see what are the qualifications that they're looking for. Is helpful. This needs to be updated. But you can see here, it's $15. So that's how you look for on-campus jobs. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question, Sarah.
Yes.
I want to know how we are able to access Csun alumni and outside professional organizations.
Yeah. So if you go to, well, really, if you go to like any, there's no one tab for finding other students. If you go to my profile, you can access other students by going down, discover more students, discover students like you across the Handshake network. And if you're, like I said, if you're looking for a Csun student, only students at Csun. And if you're looking for a specific major, or if you're looking only for alumni, and then you can select what major you're interested in. And then you can message them like that. And it's Handshake is a third, like the middleman. So if you ask them a question, the email is going to come from Handshake. If you develop a networking relationship outside of Handshake, then that would it's optional. But you can ask them questions, and the question will, Handshake will be the middleman to direct them the message to them. So you're not emailing this student directly. And that's for security reasons. And you can see they even give you like, they even populate like emails for you. And if you, like we were talking about student organizations, like you can see students who were in the same organization as you and message, then you have like two ends, like, hey, I'm a Csun student and I was in this college, I'm interested in working for Target, like, I mean, or I'm getting ready to apply for jobs. How did you find the current job you're in? You know, they might say Handshake, they might say LinkedIn, they might say Indeed, they might say a family member or a friend, you know, they had an internship. But it is helpful information to reach out to others and learn about how others found their path. Oh no. So that's how you find the students. If you go to my profile, scroll to discover more students, discover students like you across the Handshake network. And from there, you can use the filters and search for California State University Northridge students. And you can search clubs. So depending on what club you are in, I know there's like ASME, or is it under? I don't know if you have like a
John, do you belong to a club right now?
Yes.
Which
I
one do you belong to?
To the EOP Resilient Scholars.
So you can see it's been listed several times differently.
It's the Resilient Scholars Program.
Okay, that was up here. So then you can see there's two students at Csun who have it, or if you want to just open your network, okay, it's only the two.
Because it's so specific to Csun, it would only pull Csun students.
You could also do just EOP, and then actually there's more related to just EOP. So yeah, and then you can see, are they, I only want to see alumni. So these are EOP students who are alumni of Csun. And, you can reach out to them and say, oh, I see you're working here now. And you can say, I was in the EOP program too at Csun. Do you have any advice on how to apply for jobs or to interview? And you can ask for an informational interview. So you can develop more questions to ask them and build them as a connection. You could even add them in LinkedIn. So yeah, if you send like a generic email to someone, it's not going to resonate as much with them as if you make connections with them. So I think we're close to the end of the presentation. Jan, is there anything you want to say?
No, I just want to say thank you, first of all, to Sarah. She is our resident expert, and her team. They are responsible for all the major job fairs. They're responsible for bringing employers into the Handshake system, as well as approving jobs for you. So I just want you to think about that as you move forward. Handshake is a really rich system. It's fairly easy to navigate. But the more you use it, the better it is for you, because the more your profile aligns with things that you're looking for, the better the better the results you will get from Handshake, because Handshake gives you feedback. They'll let you know about jobs. They'll let you know about internships. And the more you do that, the better it is for you. So I'd like to just say thank you for everyone that came today. I will say we had very dedicated people that hung in there for all the questions. And we hope that you'll be coming to Internship Roadmap next at 12:30 p.m. There's a thank you to Sarah.
Thank you.
And then also we have so many events throughout the week. So I hope that you join us for some of our other events. And thanks for being